Doggie Dojo Show. My name is Trevor Smith, and we're back again for day 2 of the 5-day dog training challenge. And day 1 was awesome. You guys are just having an incredible time with your dogs. I am so happy, and my face, it feels so sore right now from the smiles on my face because of the fact that you guys have been playing with your dog the search and focus game. I think we have upwards to 20 people already played this game, and I'm excited about that because when we get to 50 people playing this game, we're going to unlock our first prize of this challenge. So I can't wait to reveal that to you, so keep them coming, you guys, and to help you guys out with that, we have another game coming your way, and it's with an amazing guest. Her name is Bennett, and she helps people with their, not only their dog boarding and daycare business, but their dog training business in general. And she's also really savvy, and she's been doing dog training for many years now and helping people with their own personal dogs. And she's going to show you one of her favorite games called the crate game. But just as a little disclaimer here, you don't necessarily need your crate to play this game. So those that maybe don't like using crates, well, we're going to talk about that today and more and show you guys how to play this game with your dog with and without a crate. So without further ado, Robin, welcome to the show. So thanks for joining us today. For those that may not know you or who you are, go ahead and let us know who you are a little bit and give them a little detail of what you like to do with canine companions in the dog training world.
Sure. Well, so I'm Bennett, as Trevor said, and I am a certified professional dog trainer. I've been training dogs for, now I just say 20 some years because it just sounds better.
It just sounds better. Yeah, right.
The real number. It's been a while though. And I owned one of the largest dog training facilities in Virginia. I actually moved a year ago. I'm out in Colorado now. And my company now called the Dog Gurus, we actually help pet care businesses launch, grow, and profit. So we really are a business consulting and staff training program, but I obviously focus a lot on the dogs and helping people understand their dogs. And my roots are in training families how to work with their dogs. So I do love that.
You know, I would think that would be a huge part of having a business, dog training business and dog boarding and daycare business be successful is helping families with their canine companions and stuff like that. So
exactly. And I have to say, I spent more time than I want to admit on Facebook yesterday on your page, watching all of those folks playing that game. It was really, really fun. Obviously I watched the game itself, but then I was games kept popping up of people doing the game with their own dogs. And man, there's some great teams out there. So
there are some great teams, and I just love the fact that we can do this together as one big team. I mean, I think it's always fun to do things together, particularly challenges. It's always hard to face a challenge on your own, but when we can do it as a team, it just makes it that much easier and more fun. So I'm excited about this challenge. And thanks for joining us, by the way. And thanks for joining this challenge. And those that want to maybe participate, maybe playing the games with their dogs too, and you want, kind of share what you're doing, you can easily do that by using the hashtag MinWinDog. And what that is basically minute to win it kind of scenario. We're thinking about what can we do for just a minute a day with our dog to really start building that connection and focus. So that's what the hashtag's all about. So MinWinDog, just use that, and then that helps me and others find it and make sure to kind of like and comment on your things and get to know you a little bit more. And then real quickly too, if you guys have any questions or comments, pop them down below because we are here live. And let me know that you're here because I already see that we have Sal and Farrah's here and we have Carol's here. So let us know that you guys are here. Comment down below if you have any questions along the way. We'd love to answer them for you. Inya is in the house again. She's ready to play this game. Bennett asked me to bring her back again to play the game, and she's over here giving me kind of some stink eye, like she's ready to go. She's ready to get this game going. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to do this together. And if you're watching this on replay, don't worry about it. You're here too with us. I know that a lot of you guys are working right now, and you had to go ahead and wait to watch this later, and that's great. And I'm glad you guys can come back and watch this and play this game with your dog as well. Go ahead and treat it like a live session and we'll answer any questions that we can. So comment those questions down below, and we'll come back and answer those for you. But to get started, Robin, what are we going to need to play this game?
Well, you're going to need some tasty treats. So whatever you like, then your dog likes to eat, and you feel is safe for your dog. Lots and lots of those. I tend to use smaller treats so that I can be more generous. So lots of little treats, as opposed to just one treat you can't give up, and you don't want to give it very often. So lots of treats. And then you want to have, we're going to start off with showing you how to do this with a crate. But if you don't happen to have a crate, you can also use a towel or your dog's bed or the ottoman, which I often use in the living room for my dog. But something that you can identify for your dog is a place for that dog to go. But we're going to start off kind of talking about it with a crate.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. I like how you say identify. Like I think the more identifiable the object is, the easier it is for the dog to learn. So that's why you want some. For a lot of times, this game, that's a new word now. Hashtag grain is this game kind of originates from, because when you use a crate and you're asking a dog to go to defined space, it makes it so easy when you actually really have like literally a framework when your dog's actually within a side area. And so that's why like a pet cot or a dog bed or even like an ottoman, like you said, can be even also helpful and useful, because it really shows the dog what area or what surface you want the dog to be onto in order to get those rewards.
Exactly. So those are really the only things you need. And obviously a dog and a good attitude. So lots and lots of fun. So that's all you need to get started.
Yeah, and we got Jamie in the house. She's going to be showing up, which is kind of fun that you showed up for this one, Jamie, because she is actually going to be doing a live stream with us using the table, the Blue 9 Climb, and you're going to use that to show us some really cool impulse control games with your dogs as well. So she's going to be joining us on Thursday.
Awesome.
Jamie, you and I got to talk about what time you want to come on live. That's something we got to still figure out together. And then Wade is in the house. Cool. So shall we get started? And should we show Enya, or do you have anything you want to tell us before we get too deep into the rabbit hole here?
Well, do you want me to explain it first and then you can demonstrate it with Enya? So the starting point of this game is really super easy. Let's say you're going to use a crate, and I'm just going to take some treats. Actually, Trevor's going to demonstrate this, not me, because I don't have all the fancy setup to show you.
Small room in my house, yes.
It's enough for me to be on camera, but I don't have all the camera stuff to do my dog too. Anyway, so you're going to take a treat, and we're going to pretend that your dog has never ever gone in the crate before. You're just going to take a treat. You're going to toss it in the crate, hopefully where the dog can obviously see it. And I would start this game out without a bed, so your dog can also hear the treat land on the crate floor. And then you're going to let your dog go in the crate. Hopefully he's going to go, hey, what's that in there? Let him go in, and you're going to reward him with a yes. When he goes in, he'll get the treat, and then you can have him come back out. When he comes back out, you don't really need to do anything. The reward is for him going in the crate, getting the treat, and then he's probably going to come out because he doesn't know what else there is to do. So I'll let you do that with Enya, Trevor.
Yeah, so it sounds good. While I was off camera here, I got it set up, so that's all good. So I'm going to pop over here. And Robin, you feel free to treat me completely like one of your students.
All right.
I am one of your students at the moment.
Okay.
I'm doing it just like you want me to. I'm going to pretend I'm not a dog trainer for the moment.
Okay, that's always hard, but okay.
And I'm going to get some. I got Andy's little cookies in a little cookie bucket here. And so you said to go ahead and first start off by putting the treat inside the crate.
Right. And letting her get in. And I would reward her verbally as well. She's also getting the treat. And then when she comes out, you're just going to do the same thing. Okay.
So reward her for what else?
You can actually praise her just for going in there.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, because she's getting the treat.
Yes.
So Enya's a star. That actually is the next step, is to have them go in there and stay in there. So let me back up another step. When your dog starts going in pretty easily, like Enya did, I would start adding some kind of word. And so my word for my dog getting in the kennel is kennel up. So I would say kennel up, put the treat in, he goes in. See if you can bring Enya back out for a second. I'm
going to go ahead and give her a little search, and then I got to get out of here.
Okay, perfect.
And then I'm going to say crit or
exactly. Like perfect. So you're going to give the word that you want to be the cue for this behavior. And then you can actually give her a search to get out.
Search.
She's on the next step. She's just ahead of me.
She is. So we're just going to pretend that she isn't on the next step. And I'm going to use the word search to kind of keep getting her out.
Okay.
Say, kennel, crate, or go to your bed or whatever. So I use the word crate. I'm going to use the word bed instead. Go to your bed. I like that better,
Right. So the terms don't matter. I have different terms depending on what the surface is that my dog's getting on. So for crate, I use kennel up. I use the climb, which is the Blue 9 product, their platform. I use up for that. That actually translates to getting on anything too. And then I also have a command to my dog to go to the bed. So you want the dog to start going in there on their own when you give them the cue. And then as Enya's showing you, she's going to be like, hey, all the food happens when I'm in this crate. So your dog will start staying in there. And at that point, you're going to just give them a command or the cue and then wait for them to go in there and then reward them after they've stood there for a second. And then you can ask them to get out with whatever the release command, or you can use the search command, which is what Trevor's doing.
So I can use something like free or release or...
Yes, you can use free or break or...
No, I was saying here.
The crate is a really good
place. There we
go, good. So the goal for this is for you to be able to say the word, have the dog go in there and just wait for 1 to 2 seconds, and then you reward them.
That's the point I'm missing right there. Okay, gotcha. So
that's going to be the next step, is just you're going to give her the cue.
Okay.
And now you're not throwing a treat in there. You're actually waiting for her to figure out, I should stay here for a second. Then you're going to reward her. Then you can release her.
Break. Yes, there we go. Very nice. She's picking up on it. It's good. So once again, let's simplify this. So I'm going to close the crate so we can actually make sure to review all the steps.
Okay.
She's so fun to watch,
Exactly.
So in a second here, I'm going to go ahead and first, like Robin's saying, going to ask her to go into the kennel. And then I'm going to, or into the bed. She really wants to get in there. This is a great sign. And then after she gets into the bed, I'm going to wait a minimum of 1 to 2 seconds. And then when she stays in there for 1 to 2 seconds, I'm going to reward with yes. And then I'm going to release her with break or search or whatever. Is that correct?
That is perfect. Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to say search real quickly to get her away from the crate so I can open this up. Go to bed. Yes. Oh, hold on. I said yes. I messed it up again. My goodness. Bad trainer. Let's try it again. I didn't wait long enough. That's why
exactly. Perfect. I love that you caught that.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Yes. Then reward.
And then release her.
Search. There we go. Perfect.
So what Enya's doing right now is that if your dog is learning this for the very first time, each of those stages might take a little bit. She kind of merged everything all into one.
She did.
Because she's a star.
And some dogs have an aversion to the crate. So you might see that your dog not necessarily wants to be there because it's always a place of confinement. And it's always a place of where they feel like they're always going to be left alone without you. So they're going to pop in and then pop right back out. Or they're going to do like the tiptoe thing where they're going to lean in as far as they can to get the cookie and then come back out. I've seen that many times. And then eventually you don't worry about that, I feel like. Right, Robin? You
exactly.
Basically just make sure to keep rewarding the dog for even trying to go in there with 1 toe to 4 paws.
Exactly.
And then
if you remember, I had Trevor stop putting the treat in the crate pretty quickly. But if you're not going to stop putting the treat in the crate until your dog is willingly going in there really quickly on their own. So right now, the treat is actually luring the dog into the crate. Right. And that's what you want, especially if your dog's a little nervous about the crate. But once they're willing to go in there because they're like, hey, food happens in here, then you stop putting the food in there and wait till they go in. Then you're going to reward them. So that's several steps all kind of combined into one. And you might take you a little bit longer, but that's fine. It's like Trevor said, it's all going to be dependent on each individual dog. So don't worry about how long it takes. And again, this is a game, so you want it to be fun. So don't get frustrated. The reason I like to start this with a crate, and then we can branch into some of the other obstacles and some of the more advanced things that I recommend playing this game for. But I start with a crate, number one, because if you have a puppy, it's a great way to get the puppy used to the crate, and you can use a crate for house training. But the other reason is that I want every dog to be comfortable in a crate, no matter the age. So I'll be honest, my dog is 2. I don't have a crate in my house for my dog right now. However, he does still travel in a crate, and I have a portable crate I take with him when I go to hotels or I go out of town. I have to keep him someplace. And if you ever have to take your dog to a vet, which obviously all of us should be going there once a year for a checkup, but if you ever have to leave them overnight, guess what? They're going to be put in some kind of an enclosure. It might be a run, it might be a crate, but I want my dog to be used to being in that kind of enclosure before they have to be there when they're sick or not feeling well. So the crate is a really good tool just to play games with your dog, just to get them comfortable in it. And if you notice, we're not even closing the crate at this point. We're really it's just really a fun game that go in, go out, go in, but then start to stay there a while, and you can increase the time. What were you going to say, Trevor?
Oh, you're good. Correct. That sounds great.
So once you do that, a couple other obstacles you can use this with: the bed, a platform, the ottoman, the climb, anything that your dog will get on. You can use a towel if you want, if you don't have anything else. And you're going to basically do the same exact process. You're going to have the dog go onto the bed initially with a treat. And then if they'll get on it, then you're going to just direct them onto it with a cue and then reward them when they get on it. So where Trevor can try this with Enya's bed. So he's tossing the treat in there and she's obviously getting on the bed to get the treat and then coming off of it.
And I picked a random bed on purpose, like this bed. Yes, there you go.
So yeah, she's like, oh, I should get in there.
Yep. And then search, same kind of idea. There you go. Awesome. Yes.
He's
so cool. See her like automatically, she kind of like put the pieces together, what she just learned from the crate, and then put it straight to the bed. That's so cool.
Exactly. And you can use this again with any obstacle. So my most common obstacles in my house right now are the climb, because I have some climbs in my house, and then the ottoman in my living room, which I use a lot. So handy little things to have around the house.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you the advanced level of this and why I love this game. Are you good with that, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Let's hear about it. Who else is excited? Go ahead and comment down below if you want to hear the advanced version. Say woof in the comments. Let us know.
Wade already said wolf a while ago.
Oh, no, my goodness. Wade is already on top of it. Look at that. Awesome.
So here's why I like this game. Because when my dog, a couple of years ago when I still have kids, but when they were younger, I used this game for my kids at the time. They were like 10, 11, 12. And people would come over to my house and they'd ring the doorbell and my kids would obviously open the door to see their friends. And my dog would always want to bolt out the door. And I mean, it was easy for me to say, don't open the door until you manage the dogs, but they were kids and they just didn't have the ability or the patience. At that time, I actually also had 3 dogs, so that made it harder for them. So I used this game and I used to teach my dog to go to their platform or their bed, which I conveniently put in the basement. So once your dog learns this behavior, I would start using it and teaching them to go to it from farther and farther away. So initially, like what you see with Trevor and Enya, the bed and Trevor and Enya are all in the same room within a foot of each other. But you want to start to say, okay, well, Enya, go there if I'm 2 feet away, if I'm 4 feet away, if I'm in the living room and the bed's in the bedroom, will she go to that? So you start adding all of these different variations. I actually ended up putting my bed in the basement. When the doorbell would ring, my kids would go to your bed, and my dogs would run down to the basement and they would shut the basement door. So it's like managing my children and my dogs at the same time so that they could go open the door and let their friends in. And it turned out to be a great tool. I didn't actually start teaching it for that, but that's what it morphed into. And for me, it was a great way. Same thing. Anytime you have kids, anytime your doorbell rings and you're going to have company come over, same thing. The doorbell rings, tell your dog to go to that spot, and they go to that spot so you can open the door. With my situation, because I had little kids, I told them to close the basement door when the dogs went down there. And then when they came out, they got rewarded, obviously. So that's a great variation. My kids are older now and they don't live with me anymore because they're in their 20s. What I use this game now for the most, I was just telling Trevor this before the call, I use this mostly for exercise. When it's too cold or too hot out for my dogs, I play the go to your bed or mat or crate or climb game, but I put the obstacle downstairs. I don't go up and down the stairs, but my dog does. So I'll stand in the kitchen and I'll tell my dog, go down to your bed. He'll run downstairs, get on the bed or get on his climb or get on whatever I tell him to go get on. And he'll wait a few seconds and then I call him back to me and then reward. So that turns out to be a great exercise for him, going up and down the stairs quite a bit. And I don't really have to do any exercise. So that's my favorite kind of sport with my dog at the moment. So there's great applications that you can use this fun game for.
That's awesome. Like, I'm so stoked about that. I actually had to go ahead and get that set up over here. So this is basically kind of what you're talking about. I have the crate, I have the bed, and you can kind of go back and forth between the two. This could also be a second dog bed, right? This could be
exactly.
Dog bed. Or you can have 2 crates. It's just up to you. And I've seen Susan Garrett do something similar with this game with her crate games protocols.
Yep, exactly. So you just tell the dog to go back and forth between the bed, in this situation, the bed and the crate. And this is where it does help to have different names for each of the obstacles.
Okay. I'm going mixing these up. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Go to bed.
And this is even with this distance, which is maybe a foot or two, this is still causing the dog to think. So mentally, this is kind of challenging the dog because they do have to think about where they're going. You could also add a third obstacle, which then is even harder. Now it's not just one choice, but there's actually two choice every time the dog comes out of the particular bed or crate or whatever platform you're using.
Look at her run out of there.
So there's quantity and how many objects you're telling your dog to go to, and then there's also distance. So obviously we can't do too much of distance with the camera, but you could move those farther apart. And then, like I said, move one into a totally different room. And that's where it gets to be a lot of fun, because when your dog understands this game, my dog will race through the house like a crazed lunatic to try to get the obstacle. And so it is really sort of fun to watch, but it also tires him out, especially when I put the obstacle or the object down the stairs and he's got to run up and down the stairs. So
right. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. That's really cool that you showed that. I mean, I've definitely done bed stays and I've done crate games, but I've never brought the two together. And I think that's such a awesome way to like really kind of test the dog's proficiency with it. Like you're talking about,
right.
Or even like making them have to really think about what cues we're saying. Are we saying bed or crate? Are we saying the place or whatever, just like making sure they're actually listening to us. You can see a little bit of Enya over there. Like she's kind of like trying to think to herself. She knew what was next. She knew that after the crate was going back to the bed. And so you saw her kind of bounce out a little bit and then have to go, wait a second, he didn't say anything. And then he went back in. And that was so cool to me to see her like really think and process that. I think the really cool like takeaways for me today were, one, when Enya applied like the same crate game to the bed, you could see that like a light bulb click on for her, like, oh, this is like what we just did with the crate, but it's now at the bed. Oh, I get it. Like it just kind of just clicked on. And then the other cool moment was just the fact that you could see her really processing and thinking about it.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, and yeah.
She's like, oh, now I got to rest.
Yep. The camera's not blurry over there. Awesome. Let me put it back here. Awesome. You guys this has been so much fun. Awesome. If anybody has any questions about this game or how they could do something or workshop it with their own dog, please put it in the comment section down below. And I love that recommendation you made about using this for door greeting behavior. I believe that's such a struggle for so many people. They try to get their dog to stop jumping up in the moment right there when all that emotion is happening at the door. Like there's so much excitement there. To ask her dog to do anything at that point is lunacy sometimes, because they're just totally, their brain went from like this size to like a little pea size. They're just like so having such difficulty arousal. And anybody that has experienced this, even when dogs are walking and they see another dog in the park or something like that, sometimes our dog's ears just seem like they just like completely close and they turn off.
Right.
And to give your dog a different place to go to, whether it be the crate or a bed or something away from the door, is going to help them be so much more successful and get them to be more rewarded. And it's going to cause so much less frustration for both you and your dog.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. And there was a question on tips for when to know to start trying this with door distractions. And I would start trying it first of all, you have to be able to send your dog away from the door to whatever spot you have the platform or the climb or the bed or the crate. And what I do is I start those close together. Like I want to always be standing at the door when I give the cue, because that's going to be what happens when the doorbell rings. So I'll first put the climb or the crate really close to the door. And I'll just practice that. And then I'll move it into where it normally would be gradually. So over into the living room or whatever. And I also don't start with people. I actually start with just the doorbell. Bonus points if the doorbell becomes your actual cue to the dog.
That is definitely bonus.
Go to your bed. So I do lots and lots. I actually do lots and lots of ringing my doorbell. Doorbell rings. I give the cue to go to the bed. And then we practice. How long are you going to stay there? Can I ring it more times? I do lots before I ever add people. And I don't really take it one people until they're successful without people.
sometimes I take it one techie step further, and maybe I'll find the exact doorbell noise, but you more likely find a similar doorbell noise on your cell phone. So if you're a place you want the dog to go to, like it's like Robin, you want to go into the basement, and you don't want to be going up the stairs, ring the doorbell, give the dog away, and you're practicing that back and forth. You can just get your cell phone and just say, you know what, I'm going to play the doorbell sound on YouTube on my phone, and then practice it that way first. And the dog, I guarantee, just like what Anya did over here at the crate to the bed, they're going to make that connection. They're going to hear the ding dong and go,
right.
It's like the YouTube sound on her phone. And that's, if I go run to my bed, will I get a cookie for that? And don't be surprised. I'm guessing this happened to you, Robin, at one point, if like the doorbell it rings on the TV, and if your dog goes running to
I actually have had that happen before. So.
Yeah, so that's so cool. Dogs are so smart. And they're such great companions. And I believe that's the biggest thing about this whole challenge and this whole game is just to understand that if you want a certain behavior to increase, you have to reward it. Right. And I think it's real important that in the beginning stages here, especially with what Anne's talking about here, you want to make sure when you're in the beginning of this, don't stop rewarding your dog. I love the very beginning of this live stream. You talked about getting something that you can be very generous with when it comes to reinforcement. Making sure your pieces are small when it comes to using your treats, or high value enough that you can actually get the dog to get really generous reinforcement for this. And it's only because the fact that we use food is because it's a primary reinforcer. There's nothing that really else can compare like food can, because food's a survival mechanism. They need to eat to survive. Where toys and touch and verbal praise is something that sometimes dogs struggle to connect with as a reinforcement as much as they do with food.
Right. And you can wean that food out. Like my dog, for the most part now, actually does it for the game itself. Like, and you will start seeing that when you start playing these games, you're going to start seeing that your dog just starts to have fun with the game. And right. So I can get my dog to run back and forth several times before I ever really need to reward him. It's like getting to the crate is the reward, and then getting to the bed is a reward, and then they want to go to the next thing, and that becomes a game in itself. So
right.
Trevor, someone did ask what the Climb was. So just really quickly, the Climb is basically a platform, and it's sold by Blue Nine Pet Products, but it's a very sturdy platform. So a lot of trainers and a lot of pet parents use it. And I guess Jamie's going to come on in a couple of days.
Jamie, put a link in the description or in the comment section. Love to see that happen. But I'm going to go ahead right here on the screen real quickly. And maybe if you don't put it in there, Jamie, I will. Blue Nine Pet Products. You know what we're saying. And it's the Climb. I'm going to put this all.
And it's Climb with a K.
Yes, so I'm going to do that right here. Blue Nine Pet Products Climb. Boom. There you guys go. That's what we're talking about. Amazing, amazing training table. And some of those that when you go on there, you're going to look at the price and go, oh, for a second. But don't worry. Seriously, this thing is priced perfectly because it is very durable. It's highly useful for not only training this behavior, but a bunch of other behaviors. Like you'll see on Thursday for sure. And I'm going to guess that Chrissy Joy will even tomorrow show something with the Climb because if you've been anywhere the dog training world, it's just used all over the place. So Speaking of which, that kind of brings a point that's really important. Those that play this game and use hashtag MenWinDog are going to be entered into the challenge prizes that are coming up. The first prize is about to be unlocked here, where I think we're at 20 people playing these games. Once we get to 50, we'll unlock the first prize. And then down the road, one of the prizes is going to be an actual giveaway of a Blue Nine Pet Climb. So Jamie has promised to give away one of those climbs to those that are playing these games. So get out there, play some games. And then Cindy Kaspersky said something really smart. I mean, I'm like the techie guy.
Yeah, I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, just record your doorbell sound on your phone and then play it to your dog.
That's great. Great idea, Cindy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so looking forward to playing this with the doorbell. And this is what you're going to want to do, because I feel like I'm so excited about that too. I think that's like one of the this is going to be so useful with the doorbell. I would caution you maybe like for a week or so to really hammer down the beginning steps of this game. Don't go too quick, too fast of A, adding a doorbell to the situation, and B, adding guests to the situation. Make sure you have the behavior in like a vacuum first before you start adding practicality. And what I would do, just for those that want to add that to there, is I would also make you the test subject with like the phone, like she talks about, or like, playing the sound. And then if you have friends or family that are coming over, before they get there, have them text you and be ready for that. So you can with friends and family, it's a lot easier to practice with than like the UPS guy that comes to your doorstep or to knock on the door. Like, that's going to be a situation. You can't be like, hold on, mailman, please. I got to go train my dog for a second. I'll be back in 5. Like, you can't really do that with your friends and family either. But if you give them a prep and let them know that you're training something new, if they can help you out, then it's going to make it much easier for you to be successful.
Yeah, and also with that, remember too, you're adding distance. So make sure you have that distance factored in before you start adding the distraction of the doorbell or the distraction of people. Make sure your dog will really go pretty far away from you to get to the object you're sending them to, and that they'll still stay there.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you start adding distance, they'll do like a tag and then run back to you. But you want them, just like Enya was staying for one Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, you want to build that time up and make sure that they'll still do that same time when they're farther away from you.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to have them go run onto their bed and run right back to the door, which is not what we want. So work on all of that before adding the actual doorbell and then the people.
And if you have family members to help you out or friends help you out, like I've actually seen like tag teaming happening with this, like where one person will be hanging out with the dog next to the bed and giving him reinforcement for staying on the bed, while one person goes and rings the doorbell or knocks on the door or things like that. So you can tag team this training as well, which I always think is fun. So speaking of tag teaming, if you think this is useful at all, guys, please go ahead and feel free to drop a like, and then also tag a friend that may like to play this game. And then they want to play it with you. You want to challenge them to it, or share it on your Facebook wall anywhere. And we'd love for you guys to do that. And then also, Robin, where should people go to find out more about you and what you do?
If you want to learn more about me, you're welcome to join me over on my website, which is thedoggurus.com. So thedoggurus.com.
Perfect. And then also, I'm pretty sure I'll be tagging her up in the description and in the comment section down below if you want to check that out. She also has, you can also check out facebook.com/thedoggurus. Awesome, Robin. What should they what will they see when they head over there for you?
Well, the biggest thing they'll see is some products and services that we have, especially if you happen to own a pet care business, then we are happy to help you to grow your business or look at other revenue streams for your business, or you just have questions about what your business is doing. Right. We'll help you with that. So lots and lots of business support and staff training services for those of you that happen to own a business. But I'm also happy to talk to
your Dog Gurus event the other month, and it was awesome. So much fun. You guys know how to throw an event together. It was such a party, and you had so many great and amazing speakers. You have so many great connections too in the dog training world and industry. And it's so great to see all the great things you're doing over there with the Dog Gurus. So,
well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good. And then if you guys have any other questions, put them in the comment section down below. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing such a great job on day 1. Let's keep the ball rolling here, guys, with day 2 of this challenge. Tomorrow we get to speak with Chrissy Joy, and she's going to be showing us some loose leash walking games. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. And if you want to know everything that's going on with this challenge, go ahead and check out Dog Training Games in Facebook, and you can use the hashtag MenWinDogs to see what's happening. If you type that hashtag MenWinDog into Facebook search, I guarantee you're going to find us. And because we are just popping up and we're playing with our dogs every single day during this challenge. So thanks for joining us today. And Thanks, Robin, for joining us as well. So
thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing some people playing the game.
Oh, me too. It's so exciting. And guys that are on the Dog Training Facebook group, I'll go ahead and distill down the game into a small clip for you guys. And we're going to put together so you guys can watch the game and just like a 1-minute kind of sum up. And then also tonight, I'm excited about this, Robin. I'm so stoked that you decided to play this game with us today, because in the Facebook group, I'm going to go live into my pre-agility class, and we're going to play this game tonight in our pre-agility class.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be fun. So if you guys want to make sure to catch that little mini live stream that I'm going to do and get a little class snapshot, then you guys can go ahead and make sure to follow us on the Dog Training Games Facebook group page. So thanks so much, Robin.
Thanks.
All right, you guys have a great day. Make sure to have some fun with your dogs, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.